Very good morning, and let's start our day with lesson number 4, which is producing detailed reports. So before moving into this, let's have a quick revision of the topics what we have learned last week. So last week we got introduced to the syntax. We saw the various 4 types of syntax errors. We saw how one can write the code, open the code, submit the code. We got introduced to SAS programming interactive phases, right? So we saw the interactive environment of SAS consists of 3 windows, which is your code window, log window, and output window, as well as results window, correct? Now, then we had got introduced to the concept of libraries, and we had seen how one can see the descriptor portion of your data as well as the data portion of your data by using procedures. For descriptive procedure area to be viewed, you use proc contents. For data portion to view, you use proc print. Then we had used a concept with a syntax named libname to connect our all SAS files into SAS environment, and the concept we term it as library, correct? So that was all we had learned last week. So this week we are going to start with how one can create the detailed reports. In this chapter, you have 3 topics: subsetting report data, sorting and grouping your report data, and enhancing your reports. So to start with, subsetting reports, okay? So objective here is we'll be creating a detailed report by using proc print. Then we'll use how to select the variables in your proc print output by using a var statement. Then we'll see what is the significance effect of a sum statement to your output report. Then we'll see how to subset the rows. We don't want all the rows in the report. How to subset, we'll be using where statement, and along with it, we'll see an ID statement, how it enhances the output. Okay, so to move ahead, we are going to work with the data oran.sales, where they want to create the report for only the columns in the output, which should be last name, first name, salary, and the salary at the bottom should have total salaries of all your sales employees from this data. So to begin with, in your studio, you have to first get connected to your SAS data file, and we have to connect it with your libname statement. So every time you work in your environment of SAS Studio, first and foremost, you need to connect to your data sets by executing a libname statement. All right. Then moving ahead, let's have the same scenario where with proc print will be generating an output. Now it is very much clear to everyone now that proc print actually is also termed as a list report. Why list? Because it lists all rows, all columns to your result window. Hence, if I write proc print data equal to data set termed on our business requirement is sales, and run. So when I execute this 2 statements of this step of proc print, we'll get the output, and it's displaying all the variables and all the rows into your output result window. So it has 165 variables total. So these are obviously, if you see this job title, this is all for sales department. But what is requested in the output is, so of course, it's telling you are getting default obvious column as well. Okay. So what is the expectation in the report of including obvious column? You want last name column, first name column, salary column. So by default, if I simply write proc print, it default results to display all your columns for your output. So these are nearly 9 columns in your data. So we don't want 9 columns. We want only those 3 columns, which is first name, last name, salary. So how to ask SAS to display only the 3 columns, which is expected in our business requirement? So that is possible with a statement called var. Okay. And in this statement, we are going to select the columns by using the names separated by your space. Okay. Now, the order which I give, in the same order, the column values will be appearing into output. So because I have specified first name, then last name, then salary, my result will be displayed only with these three columns in the same order. Okay, so let's re-execute again. So you get first name, last name, salary. But what is expected in your scenario output? First name should be in the first order, then last name, and then salary. So let's go into your code and change the sequence of our columns. So moving ahead. So var is a statement which helps us to give us the liberty to select the columns in which order we want in our output. By default, it's coming obvious column. Now, what is expected is we want for salary at the bottom, the total salary. Okay. So how do I expect this sum of the salary? So you have a statement called sum. Now, sum is a statement which will calculate sum of only numeric values for that particular column should be numeric. Hence, salary being numeric, I'm simply writing a sum statement with my salary. For sum, it will calculate the total at the bottom like this. All good? So this is what the two statements which we are going to get introduced to, which is var and sum. Yes, Nagendra? Are you trying to
Yes.
speak? Nagendra? All right. Moving ahead. So this is what we have seen. By default, procprint displays all observations and all of variables to your output. So to enhance this report, we need to select only the required variables. So it is possible with the var statement, you select the columns. In the order which you provide the column names, this order will be followed in your output. The names of the columns are separated by space. So var, it is the syntax telling variable or variables. So you have one or many variables to be displayed. Okay. And of course, with the sum statement, you get this sum of total of your salary. Okay, so it works only for numeric column. If you write sum for last name or job title or first name, it won't work. Okay. And that is what you'll see in your output, all 65 observations, sorry, in your log, after processing your procprint, it's telling you it's processing all 65 observations from your data set oran.sales. Okay, so this is the default output. Now, what is the requirement next here is, now we do not want to see all 165 observations in output. The Orion Star management wants a report that displays the names and salaries of the sales employees who earn less than $25,000. So you do not want obvious column as well in your output. So this is what is expected. Only those employees who are earning less than 25,500. So this is where now in the report, where it is default giving you all the observations of your input data, which is 165. We do not want all 165 observations in your output. We want only those employees who are earning less than 25,500, right? So that's what it was telling here, less than 25,500. So to work on this criteria, to select the variables, we used var, and to select the observations as per the process of selecting the rows, we use a where statement. We write your column on which you want to subset your rows into output, and you give this operator to select only those rows as per the criteria from your data, which is 25,500. So now when we execute this code, we are going to see the results. Sorry. Less than equal to. All right. So this one on executing, we are going to see all the values which are less than 25,500 for your data and their total salaries. So what you see here at the left-hand side is the original observation at what this criteria is true. That means at observation number 49 from your data set Orient.sales, this is the employees who is earning less than 25,500. So this is the original observation number from your data. Same is this, and so on. Okay. When you check your log is telling that when you submitted your proc print on your var, where and sum, when it comes to your where statement, make a note. Whenever you process the code into your processing phase of your data, SAS always reads the code, every statement from left to right and sequentially from top to bottom. So when it comes to your where statement, it is looking that it has to subset the rows on this criteria. That's what it's telling you in the log. And it's telling because of this criteria, it has selected only 7 observations, which are true for this criteria. And that is what you see the result. And this is the original observations from your data set. So if you do not want this obvious column in your output report, we make use of options in proc print, no obvious. So this is no obvious, which will suppress the observation column from your result. And this is what you see into output, no obvious, all those 7 rows with the criteria true for your salary less than equal to 25,500. All good? Understood this code?
No,
Understood?
yeah.
Understood what var is doing, understood what where is doing, what sum statement is doing. Okay, so if this is done, if you have connected to your library with Orion, let's move ahead and type this code. Go ahead.
Got it.
Okay. Nagendra?
Variables means what we want
Right.
in the means
Output.
what output, and where means where what exactly criterias we were putting, means if you want to
So in short, var works for selecting columns, where works for selecting observations.
okay.
Okay, subsetting the rows. So you are creating out of 165, the output is selected only for 7 rows. So that
Okay.
is subsetting your report. Okay. All right. So let's have a detailed explanation on that. So this is what where statement gets introduced, where and your where expression. So this is where It is telling statement selects observations that meet criteria specified in your where expression. So the criteria is where salary should be less than 25,500. Okay. So when you execute this, this is what you see the output. Correct. So this is what your log gives you message as well. Then you see this result, and this is the original observations at what the data for salary is less than 25,500 is true. This criteria is true at this observation. Hence, SAS has selected this row and so on. So these are the original observations which you see in your result. And if you want to suppress the observation column from your result, you use NOBS option in ProcPrint. So this is no observations column. So you will not see any observation column in your report, which was default output in your ProcPrint. Okay. So let's understand how this where statement along with this where expression, what could be the expressions written into it. So this expressions could be of two types where you use operands and operators. Now what is operand? So in our example, we had used a constant way, we have used a variable to subset the value on a constant value from your data. So this is your numeric variable and this is its value, which is numeric, but it's a constant, that is a fixed value which you're giving. Hence, it becomes a constant numeric value. So your operands could be character constants, numeric constants, or date constants, character variables, numeric variables as well. So this is one criteria on my salary. So in when I saw, or let's see how your Orion data actually is and what are the various values into it. So you have sales data for Orion library. So within this, you have first name, last name, gender. Okay. Then you have salary, job title, country, AU. And if you scroll, you have US. And you have see the birth dates and see the hire date. The birth dates originally is in the form of number of days. I hope you could recollect. SAS saves dates as numeric value in the form of number of days, which it calculates from 1st Jan 1960 as a 0 day, and henceforth, accordingly, these dates are number of days. Correct? Now, if I have to subset my data on, suppose I tell that I want to subset data on country for only AU. Okay, so I can move back. I'll just comment this where, and I write a new where statement, and I write where country is AU value. So what is AU? It's Australia value. And why I'm writing it like this? It's because in my data, this is a character data value and it appears in my data as AU in uppercase. So whenever you want to select the rows on the criteria of character values, of course, this is a constant because you're giving a single constant value. It is not changing here. So you have to specify how it is provided in your data. And because it's a character constant, you have to put into quotation marks. Fine. So now when I execute my data, let me also include my country column in my output. So when I execute my ProcPrint here, I'm going to get the output with country column in the output. Why? Because in my var statement, I have selected country and I see the result only for Australian employees. And how many rows are this? So SAS has subsetted the data on this criteria, and out of 165, it has selected 63 observations. All good. So this is about character constant. This is numeric constant. All good.
For the var statement, there is means first name and last name. There was an underscore in the naming thing, but country salary we just mentioned it like that only.
The column on the names are the same name columns which are there into data set. If you try to give some different column name, SAS will not find it. Hence, it will give you an error. Now, in case
Yeah, means there is no need to put any other sign I'm asking. Means for
no,
for
because
statement, we'll just
as
mention the column names we want, and the last we'll end the statement. No need to add anything in between.
no. It should be as it is in your data, your column
Okay.
names as well. So if I don't write this underscore and I execute this report, I'm going to get an error. It's telling me that this name is not there in my data. So it's telling variable first name not found. That means this variable is not there in data. So it's prerequisite whenever you're working on any business requirement. First and foremost is look into your data set. Observe your data with columns and how the values are. So how to observe your data for descriptor portion? So that is what make use of proc contents data equal to and use your Orion.sales data to understand the column structures and its type and how many or what are the default rows. So default total numbers of observations are 165, variables are 9. If you scroll at bottom, you'll get your variable list. So this is the original columns in your data set. This is its type. So this is country, this is its type. This is the employee IDs. Look at your first name. It's first underscore name. It's a character variable. So this is very much requested that whenever there is a business requirement, the prerequisite being a data analyst is you need to understand your input data, its structure, its columns, and the values. So again, in case I do not check into my data clear properly, and I simply write this, and what I tell is country underscore certain, and I execute this, I'm going to get errors. Errors, it's telling, of course, first name is not found. Again, this variable country underscore W is not on the file itself. Got it? So this is the error. Fine. So I move back, I correct my errors. I work on this country column as well now. And I try to execute on my where criteria to select the country, which is AU. But I'm getting 0 observations. So it's telling no observations were selected from your data set. There were 0 observations processed where criteria used was country is equal to small case AU. So in your data, you do not have any small case AU itself. It's all upcase. So how SAS will come to know that you are talking about upcase AU? Because you have just provided the instructions of small case AU, it's looking only for small case AU in your country column. So it is not an error, but it is simply telling that this observation is not there in your data, hence 0 rows. So you have to go back and correct your output requirement. And therefore, it's prerequisite being a data analyst to understand your input data. Until and unless you do not understand your input data, you won't be able to type the code correctly to achieve the correct output.
Yeah,
All
yes,
good?
yes. Vaishnavi, one thing I understood this where statement, but how you put this greater than and equal to?
We'll come to it. Now, there is slides. We'll see to it. Okay. We'll see to it. So either in SAS, you can use this symbols or you can use less than as a keyword, or equal to also you can use EQ. Okay, so EQ is equivalent to your numeric equal to or your arithmetic operation of equal to sign. So it's still working with EQ also. Okay, so these are the mnemonic symbols which you can use. Fine. So
But how we
moving
can like
ahead,
type in the
we'll see it in
yeah.
upcoming slide. So this, I just wanted to give you the examples of operands. And operators are all symbols that represents a comparison, calculation, or logical operators like this. We can also use SAS functions, and there are certain where operators, special where operators we can use in. So all this we'll see in upcoming slides. So these are some of the examples with constant, or we call it as fixed values to be subsetted. So this is a fixed value for character type of column gender. We are selecting data. We give instructions to select the data of column gender where value is M. So it's a constant character value. And because it's a character value, it has to put in quotes, and character values, I'm talking about values. It's not column name. Values are case sensitive. Okay, so that's what we saw the example here with AU. Values are case sensitive. Okay. And of course, this is an example of numeric constant variable value. So this is a constant variable value on which you are subsetting your data. Because it's numeric, your data value should not be put into quotation marks. All good? Is this okay till date?
Yeah.
Okay. Then moving ahead, how one can subset the data on dates. Fine. Now, we know that in our data, we also have certain employees, no, sorry, we have employees birth date and hire dates. So as per my business requirement, in case I want to select all the employees who were hired before 1st Jan 2000. Okay, my date requirement is I want all the employees hired before 1st Jan 2000. But the dates are in the form of number of days. So how do I come to know if I write a calendar date of 1st Jan 2000 to subset it on this number of days? So in SAS, what we have, the concept is, we use the concept called date constant. So my column in my data is hire date. I write my calendar date in the form of 2 digits of day, 3 letters of my month, and 4 digits of my year into quotation, and I give this D, which is termed as date constant. So this D will convert this calendar date into number of days, and hence it will subset my data on my column for hire date. So I need to specify this hire date in var. So I will see the column values in your output as well. Okay, so equal to sign I have not given. That's what this log is highlighting. Your where expression, where clause is expecting all these operators. If you might have missed any, you must include any of these operators. So it's suggesting all the operators which is to be used in your where. So I forgot that I want to select where date is equal to this. So I execute my proc print and I check that it's telling there are 0 observations. There is no such employee who had joined before 1st Jan 2000. So let's use this as suppose 1st or after 1st Jan. So I may write this as greater than 1st Jan, okay? Or less than 1st Jan, whatever, before. Because I have used equal to, it did not select, but our requirement is before 1st Jan 2000. So I get all these employees who were joined before 1st Jan 2000. So when I check my log, there are nearly 85 observations. Because I use this mnemonic form, it's using this symbol, which is less than. All good. So this is what the date constant will convert your calendar date into number of days with this D, and then it will subset your data. If I don't write this D, look at the change in the color and see the expression. I'm going to get a process error where it's telling this where clause is having an operator, but it requires a compatible variable. So it's not understanding this at all. Hence, you should write this D, then only this calendar date will be converted into number of days. Okay, so that's what it's telling here. When you want to work to subset your data on date constant, you have to write this date into quotes as DD triple M Y. So this Y could be 2 digits your value or 4 digits your value. So this is how it's telling. So your day is in digit, month is in your 3 letters of your month word, first letters, and of course the year either 4 digits or 2 digits. You write this D constant either small case or uppercase, both is equivalent. So this D will convert calendar days into number of days, and then it will subset your data. So this is the comparison operator. So you have symbols or you use the mnemonic operators. Equal to can also be written EQ. Not equal to can be written this way or any. You can use greater than sign. This is what GT is. Less than is LT. Greater than equal to, less than equal to. And you have in operator, which is equivalent to all the list which you have provided. I'll show you this what in operator works. Okay. So these are some of the examples. So what does this indicates? Where gender equal to a blank quotation, it will select all the column values in gender, which is missing. Now, because gender is a character variable, we know the values we put into quotes, and also if in your data you have missing values for character, SAS represents blank. So that blank, if you put into quotes, it indicates we are selecting only the missing values for your character type of column called gender. And for numeric, it is period. So we say select all the salaries which is not equal to missing. So it will have all the values which are there. Is this two examples clear? Yes, no?
Yes. So
Vaishnavi, Sharda.
Yes,
Vaishnavi, you are speaking. I'm not able to hear you.
Hello. Yeah, my
Yeah,
mic was, yeah, got
understood?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is comparison operators greater than equal to 50,000. So it will select all the salaries values which is greater than equal to 50,000. This is less than this. That is before. And what does this in includes? In means select all the values for country among all this list. So this is because character values, case sensitive, put it into quotes, separated by comma or space, both is equivalent. So in operator means among the given list, select all. So this is like select country equal to AU and equal to US. Same is here. And this is numeric type of column values for order type. You can give lists of orders, but because these are numeric columns, do not put into quotation marks. So you're telling SAS to select order type values among the list. The order type is equal to 1 and 2 and 3. All good? Yes,
Yes.
no, okay. So this is what n was equal to one of the list. Okay. So now if this is understood, let's open up this activity and check. Now do not work on it until I tell you. I'll work for you people, understand the concept, then move ahead. I'll give you time to work on it. Okay. So activity, it's A01 for chapter 4. So it is P1 chapter 4 A01 activity. Okay, so if you'll see, it's proc print for your data set oran.sales, and you have two where statements. First where for country equal to AU, second where for salary which is less than 30,000. So now I execute my proc print, and of course it will give me an output. So the output I get, okay, so let's check our log. It's telling 134 observations were processed on your criteria salary less than 30,000. But then if I see there is another note I see in my log, it's telling where clause has been replaced. What does this statement means? If you have seen this proc print carefully, and it's telling where the clause has been replaced. What does this mean? Any idea?
Uh, the other where has replaced the previous country statement.
Absolutely correct. So when you are writing two criterias on which you want to subset your data and you write two different where statements, as I said you, when SAS is processing the steps, it processes it sequentially from top to bottom. So when it comes to your first where statement, it will subset your data on country equal to AU, but immediately again, it follows another where. So the first criteria which it has selected the country value as AU is getting replaced with the recently read where criteria, which is salary less than 30,000. And that is where it immediately worked on this recently read where it immediately writes a note in your log that your where clause got replaced. And it has worked only on the recent where clause to subset the data on salary criteria, which is less than 30,000. That's what you'll see the results for salary is all less than 30,000. But the country, the gender, what was it? Country is AU. So this country AU is not worked on. So you find all your values with AU for country as well as US also. Understood what happens when you write multiple where statement? Yes.
Yes.
So this is one of these syntax questions in your interviews as well as in your certifications. So if you understand what log is telling you, you'll be able to explain this as well as you'll be able to tell this also. Okay. So now if you are looking to include both the criterias, then instead of writing multiple where, what I can do is I can, along with this where I can add another criteria with a operator called and I say salary should be less than 30,000. That means select all the employees which is who are from the country AU and salary is 30,000. So I want both the criterias matching, and hence when I execute my code, I get all the country values are AU. See, from top to bottom, all are AU and their salaries are less than 30,000. Understood? So how many rows now? Only 51. And how it is working? It's working like this to subset your rows. Understood?
Yes.
Okay, so either which ways there are two operators to join two criterias. You use and or you can use where sorry or as well. So what does or does? So it's like or you give the option to SAS either of the conditions are true. It's like here it was compulsory reading for observations where countries AU and also the person who is from country AU and his salary is also less than 30,000. But now I'm not using and, but I'm using or. So what does this or will do? It will look into your data. It will check wherever there is AU. It will select. Even if the salary is not true, it will still select the value because it's one of the criteria is true. Hence, this or works on either of the criteria is coming true. So now when I execute my rows and I check my log, now the number of observations will increase. Earlier, I was getting 51 criteria rows on my criteria selected for both the conditions, but because of or operator, it has increased the number of rows. So how the result comes? The very first result, though the salary is not less than 30,000, it is 1 lakh and above. But because this observation is true for AU, it is selecting country is equal to AU. Understood? Yes, no.
Yes.
So here also it's showing you US as well. Why now US has come? Because one of its criteria is true. So it is telling your salary is less than 30,000 and though a country is not EU, but still one of the criteria is true, it has selected. Understood now? So this is how OR operator works. Okay?
Yes. If you, ma'am, if you want either, like either the salary should be less than 30,000 or country should be AU.
So that's what or. Either of the condition is true. Okay.
So in one line, we can add only two criteria. What if
No. You can have multiple criteria. So here I want and I write gender should be only male employees. So I'm getting. So how it is working because of this or among this and gender male. So again, the result is not going to be correct because wherever AU it is selecting because of this AU or salary, fine. But again, you have AU less than salary is 30,000, but it's not male, but still it is selecting. So this happens when you write this criteria. But then if you want all with the same requirement, do this and check it. Now you will get gender all male, country all AU, and salaries all less than 30,000. All good? So you can have multiple criteria written. There are only 28 rows now. All good?
And even this, the previous one which you showed, the hire date and the birth date, can we make it as a readable format, the entire column?
Yeah, so that I'll come to it slowly. First, we'll work on multiple where statements, okay? So when we write multiple where statement, what was the issue? Which of the following is true?
D is
D1, it
true.
will
It will overwrite.
Correct. D is true. The recent where will get executed. Okay, in short. So this is what it is. Logical operators and or. So if you want to write more than one criteria to subset your data, in a single where statement, you can join the criteria with and operator or a or operator. So these are the logical operators. So this is what it was. You also have the logical operator like not in. So when you saw in operator, it's telling not in means you are writing where city column are not in among the list. That is, it will select all those cities which are not London, Rome, and Paris. Understood? And this, wherever you write like this, the first priority will be given to not in and an or. Got it?
which is the symbol for not the second symbol?
You can write not in like this. No need of writing this symbol. Directly write not in. Okay.
Okay.
So this, like where country is equal to AU or country is equal to US, this is equivalent to not in AU US. Okay. All right.
The third
So
one
it's
was or.
equivalent.
So we apply and or. So first it will execute and.
Yeah.
Like that.
So as per this priority.
Okay.
So if you have written this all together, first priority in case. Okay. So in case you get the report and you say why it's coming like this. So the report comes because you have written not and on or. So it takes first priority as not for first and as second and or for third. But this is what it is. Okay. Fine. Okay. So answer this poll. Which where statement correctly subsets the numeric values for May, June, or July and missing character values?
B.
Okay. Vaishnavi, Nagendra. So May, June, July are your months. Numeric
B1, huh?
yeah, it is going to be 5, 6, 7. But because those are numeric, you write in operator among the list, no need of giving quotation, and name being a character variable, it is missing. So you write it like this. So correct option is B. Understood now, Nagendra?
Yes.
Okay.
Answer
Um,
is numbers.
Yeah.
I have one doubt.
Yeah.
Means going further, can you give one example which will means it will include all, like not and or.
Yeah, you can try it out. Okay.
Huh.
We will work on it. Okay. So
Okay.
before moving to this part we had learned, correct? So that is why, if you remember, whenever I wanted to show you each operator, I did not include in the same, or I did not kept the earlier where. I kept on giving the comment for earlier where, and then I showed each and every examples. Okay. So what you can do is, you can try this code, which I have highlighted this book. Of course, to understand your input data, you have to read proc contents. Okay, so you need to know how your data is, the proc contents, and of course, this is the bit. So try all this by yourself. Now. So let's understand a business scenario. So it's telling Orient Star Management wants a report that lists only the Australian sales representative data. Now, what is Australia sales representative? So this indicates that it means country should be Australia and job title should be sales representative, and the columns in the output, first name, last name, country, job title, no obvious column. Okay. So if you have observed our data earlier as well, so country, we know it's country AU upcase. In job title, there are various data values. So there we have sales manager, we have sales representative level 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And we also have some chief sale officer and some other. Okay. But what do we require? Sales representative, irrespective of their level. So how to work on this? So now in this case, obviously, again, we have to, because it's a report, it's going to be proc print. Okay. So remove this, where country this, and job underscore title column. Now this value, either I can use an equal to sign, where I may write it sales space red as it is. Okay. Because in my original data, how is the data? S capital space REP R capital with a dot. Correct? So in case if I write the program like this, I end my statement. Okay, and I execute. So I'm going to get answer is 0. Why? Because it's nowhere in the data. It's only cell space REP with dot. It's a data with the values with 3, 2, 1, 4 level. But then it's not always feasible for us to look into your data for every value with how many levels you have. Because now it's just a classroom data. So you have 165 rows. So you open the data and find. So this is okay, but it's not always like this. You may have millions of rows, correct? And you have maybe various levels as well of a sales representative. So the best way to select the observations, okay, you have a special operator called as contains. contains. Okay, I'm not talking about content. Contains means it contains. Suppose if I simply write this much only. So it will select all the observations in job title, whichever contains the word sales representative, irrespective of level 1, 2, and 3. But it will check wherever it has this word, it will keep on selecting those observations. So now when I execute this code, I'm going to get some results. And of course, I see this criteria is coming through. All the employees with country value with AU and sales representative, including their levels. Okay, so if I check my log, I find there are 61 observations selected with this criteria. So this is the word contains. Either you use the word or you use the symbol of it, which is a question mark. So it is going to be selecting those values with same 61 observations. All good? Understood? Yes, no?
Yes. We can use this contains for then gender and that also now
Yes,
means.
that also. Yes, yes, you can. So these are various ways of working. They are making use of operators. Okay. So this is what we wanted. So to achieve this, we use this and this. And of course, here we had to make use of a var statement to select your last underscore name, post underscore name, country column, job underscore title. Correct? So this was expected with only this many columns. This is how it is. And you get this. So contents is a special where operator. So either you use the word contents or a question mark. Okay. So either you write cells rep period or this dot, or you can simply use this word as well. So this will also take care to select all the values which contains the word REP. So wherever there is a word REP, it will select all those. Okay. So that's what. Is it giving the same result? Yes. All good now? Understood?
Yes.
This is how it is. So you have special where operators, we saw contents, which works only on character columns. Between and can be also used where you include the range. Both can be used for character numeric columns. Okay, then where same and is an augment of where expression can be used for both character and numeric. So what is this where same and? I'll explain you in upcoming topic. Is null means instead of selecting a missing value by using a for character with quotes as blank, you can use directly a keyword is missing or is null, both of them, and a like operator. So like and where and I'll show where same and I'll be showing you. But before moving into it, practice or you can just try out with this. Go ahead.
Uh, I'm sharing my screen.
Yes.
My table of content is in blank.
Go back into, show me your log. Log window. Click log now. What happened?
Something happened.
1 second. Give
Yeah.
me the control of your screen. Hold on.
The
ये
system
hang
has
हुआ है
by
क्या?
now.
Hang हुआ है शायद 1 second. 1 second, 1 second. This is into Microsoft Edge now.
Yeah.
Never open SAS Studio into Edge. Open it into Chrome only.
Okay, I will open.
Yeah. So just copy this part. I'll do it. Wait. Google. I hope you have it.
Yeah.
This one. Okay. 1 second. Okay, 1 sec, 1 sec. What's your libname code?
Libname. Yeah.
You have to connect your data, right?
Yeah.
Now work on this. I'll stop sharing. You can work. Okay, rest females. Done. Vaishnavi and Sharda.
Can you show the screen once, code
Yeah,
once?
sure. Yeah.
Countries. By countries equal to job data. Yeah, got it.
Understood?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Nagendra?
Yes. Contains is written in comments. Can
No,
you?
either you can give the symbol or you can use the word.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so this part of between and this special one, I'll show you post break. So we'll break for 10 minutes. Okay, so it's nearly 11:13. So let's move in by 11:25. Okay.
Okay.
Right. So let's see how where same and works. Okay. So when we were working with the multiple where statements, okay. So we know we have written multiple where statement, but we want this both the wheres to be executed. Fine. So maybe when you're writing programs, sometimes we are busy with many things, so we tend to use multiple where. Okay, then we can make use of where same and operator along with the earlier where as well, and you execute. So it is going to work on both the wheres, and it will give you a message when it reads both the where. It's telling where clause has been augmented, and it actually works like this. It means that when you write where same and, that though you have written earlier also a where, again you are using a where statement along with your previous where, move ahead with this where statement as well. So where same and, that means both the where are the same. So please use both and it will work on this with a single where, with telling you to subset the data with AU and criteria of salary less than 30. Both where are going to be worked along with where same and option. All good? Okay.
We can use where same and
Yeah,
this.
when you write
Okay.
multiple where statements, you can use this. That's what they want to tell. Okay. So I can also use where same and telling gender equal to male. So this
It's
is
basically when we want to write separate multiple where statements, we can use
yes.
same and all it will be
Actually, it
run.
will work like this.
It
Got it?
won't take the most latest or which is the
Yes,
one.
absolutely correct. So it's just options which they have used depending on your using whatever, depending on how you use it, you can use all any of the criteria. Okay. So whichever you find as a data analyst, you are comfortable to use, you can use it. Okay. So that's what one example with where and same. So this is between and, so it's very simple to understand, where salary between 50,000 and 1 lakh, or you can also use not between 50 and 1 lakh. With character values also, you can use between any name or last name between A and L. That means in a column last name, if any name is having a character value starting between A and L should be selected, or a word also like baker and gold. So this is also one examples where you can use between and for numeric as well as character. So this is equivalent to you use it like this. Between and is equivalent to like this. Okay. So this is one example. Second is where same and. So along with where country, Australia and salary less than 3,000, you are also using where same and gender equal to female. So it means augment that. That means along with your earlier where, that should also subset the values on this current where. That is what it is. It gives you the message into log that the where clause has been augmented. Okay, so it works with all the three like this. Now view this output where you have all the three criteria have been coming to your result. Okay, now I'll be opening this activity A0 1B. Okay, so this is with where and. So it is also telling A0 1B. So it's telling change where same and to where also. So instead of using same and, you can also use where also. So this is also another way of augmenting your previous where. So keep the earlier where as well as work on recent where. So you have another option along with where, same and, you can also use where also. So same message and it will work on this criteria. All good? Yes. So what message you get in the log? Your where clause was augmented along with where also. All right. Yes, no.
Yes.
Okay, so open this activity A01B. Try it with where also. Go ahead. Once done, please let me know.
Done.
Yes,
Yes.
working. Here also.
Mm.
We have
All
to
right.
replace same and with also.
Yes, absolutely. Sharda done?
Yes, yes, done.
Okay. So as we saw with where, saying and there are, we see now is not. So either you, whenever you write where employee ID, if it is a character, you know, for missing values for character, we use blank, and numeric is period. Instead of writing, in case if you're too busy and you have not seen what is the type of your column, simply use this keyword is null or is not null, so that it will select all the non-missing values. So this is null is valid for both character and numeric columns as well. Either you use is null or is missing or is not missing. Both is equivalent. Okay. Okay. Now let's select this like operator, special operator, how it works with where. Now this like special operator is something like you are going to give a pattern of characters to select SAS from your specific requirement. So whenever you write a percent sign, it means any number of characters should be selected, and with one underscore, it is exactly one character occupied. Now in the name column, you're using to subset your data with a like operator in where statement, and you tell, because its name is a character type of column, you put the value as into quotes N. So it's capital N. So it's telling before N you have percent, and percent indicates any number of characters. That means select all the names which is ending with N, and before N any number of characters. Understood? Whereas here it's telling where name like T underscore M. Underscore indicates exactly one character. So in the name, if the name is Tom, Tim, Tum, all that values will be selected. Tim means TIM, Tom is TOM, TUM. Whatever it is between capital T and M with one character, even if it is TEM or even if it is TNM, that all values will be selected. Okay. And what does this mean is with T followed with one character, small case m, after m, n number of characters. So this will select the values like Tommy, Timmy, getting it, everyone? Percent indicates n number of characters. Post m, and here it is before M, that is ending with M. Is this clear? Yes, no? Okay. So
First
if
is number character, no?
number
Percent,
nahi, n number of characters
any
before
number, any
n,
number of characters.
any number, whether it is 10, 11, 12 character, ऐसे कुछ नहीं. It's just telling whichever it's ending with n and before n, whatever the characters this is starting with. So even if it
Okay.
is ending, the word is for the name coming as tin.
It will
The
select what is
Christine. So 10 is 3 letter, but Christine is 5 letters. But still it will select that value.
okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now in our case, let's try one example. First, let me check something for our data for suppose, okay, fine. Something I may write it as I mean, write first name, like I give the pattern. Suppose I want the pattern in my data, which is ending with A. Okay. I may give it percent small case A because in my data, the value is in small case ending with A. So what it is giving me? So I'm having an warning, apparent invocation, okay, micros, no problem. Don't look into it, but it's telling, see, first name, all which is ending with A. It is selecting. Understood? Yes, no.
You applied the code percent A.
Percent A.
Yes.
So ending is A. So it's selecting all the letters which is ending with A. Before A, n number of characters. So now here it is more than 5. Here it is 5 characters. Here it is less than 5. But it is selecting all which is ending with A. Understood? Yes, no.
Yes.
Okay. So I can also write it like this. Suppose it's starting with C. Okay. After C, n number of characters. Okay. And again, after A, n number of characters. Let's see with this pattern what it is selecting. So it's selecting after C, n number of characters. After A, n number of characters. So this A is also coming in this, which is A. Correct? So this is after A, all that is possible. After A, all that is, and C, after C, all that is possible. All good now? Understood? If this is fine, answer this poll. It's telling this is the name which consists that this is the last name, this is the first name. So, which where statement returns all observations that have first name starting with the letter M or for the given values. So that means the name consists last name and first name. So these are all first name. So it is telling that select which pattern will be appropriate where your first name is starting with M. That means maybe this value. So to achieve this value, which is the appropriate where criteria you'll be using with a like operator.
C.
Okay.
C only. Okay.
For me, I could see in this data before M, I have n number of characters. After M, I have n number of characters. So won't it be B as the pattern where your last name is separated by comma and space? I give this pattern as it is. But
Okay.
after M, n number of characters. And before M, this is what it is. So because the first name is starting with M, space, comma. So this is what it is.
Last name. Okay.
Got it? Understood now? Underscore indicates one character only,
Okay.
right? Nagendra?
Yes, there are
Okay. Yeah, bolo.
वो M से पहले भी कैरेक्टर्स हैं और M के बाद भी हैं,
हाँ
इसलिए तो वो
एब्सोल्युटली ये
दोनों।
और ये पैटर्न कैसा है डेटा में, इफ लास्ट नेम है फिर कॉमा फिर स्पेस है और फिर फर्स्ट नेम शुरू हो रहा है, तो ऐसे ही यहाँ पे दिया है उन्होंने।
We have to think in that
That
pattern
way,
only.
yeah, even that is important. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Now the business, yeah, tell me.
ये लाइक वाला स्टेटमेंट था, लाइक लाइक के बाद फिर परसेंट लगाना।
हाँ,
यस ठीक है, ओके।
लेकिन ये quotes में है because it is only for character values. So character value should be
यस
in
यस।
quotes. Okay. Okay. Now you have a next scenario where manager wants a report that includes only the customers who are 21 years old. So you're working with data customer underscore dim. So let's work on your data customer underscore dim from your library Orion. You have a data for customer underscore dim. So in this data, we have to select all the customers who are age 21 and above, correct? So that's what it's telling. So do we have a column of customer age? नहीं है, but customer age group है, okay? Customer age है, okay? Customer age है. So how to select the values on this numeric where age is equal to 21? So this is what you write your there and select only those columns which you have wanted into your requirement. So where customer underscore age is equal to 21. So subsetting variables as well as observations. So you get required rows. But when you see the output, because your data is too long, too many variables in your output, okay, you may get the observations spanning multiple lines in your report. But this is only in windowing operating environment, because in Studio and Enterprise Guide, you get the reports into HTML document. Correct? So अब तक हमने जो report देखे हैं वो HTML output आता है. तो यहाँ पे number of lines spanning होने का कोई chance ही नहीं है. Okay? But in case if you want to mark on the basis of a common column or an identifying keyword for your report, we can identify the observations not on the obvious column, but on the ID column. So you can make use of an independent ID statement on your key column called as custom ID. So you can omit the observation columns, and on customer ID, you can locate your variables, values. Okay, so that's what it's telling. ID statement specifies the variable or variables to print at the beginning of each row instead of observation number. And this is what you see. So if it spans multiple lines, so depending on the ID value, you can locate that this row is actually for the same customer ID, but it's spanning the next line. All good, but this is valid only in your windowing operating environment, because we'll not have this issue in your HTML output, which is for Studio and Enterprise Guide. But make a note that you have an ID statement where on your key column, you can identify the observations and you specify it with the ID statement. Either a single variable or multiple variables can also be used to identify the observations. All good? Yes. So it's demo D07 for this particular topic. So D07. Simply, you'll get no observations columns, but ID column. So ID is the key column on which you locate the observation of individual customers. All good? Yes. Any questions? Yeah, बोलो.
ये वाला नहीं समझ में आया, ये किस लिए हम यूज कर रहे हैं?
ID is what identifying.
यस।
हाँ, तो in case अगर मैंने यहाँ पे no obvious लिखा, I don't use this, I execute this. So do we come to know what is this column? Of course, with the name of the customer, you can find, but you have a key column now, which is an index column called as customer ID, which is a unique value. Now, every customer has its unique customer ID. इतना तो आप agree
Yes,
करोगे.
yes.
हाँ, तो
ID is not here.
correct. So let's identify it by giving a separate ID statement on your identifying column, which is a unique value for every customer, which will identify that customer and its detail. So every different customers. Got it now? Understood?
Yes.
That's it. And you have an exercise. So exercise, I leave to you as a self-study, but before that, let's see to it. So it's telling on page 4-25, you can work on level 1, where you have to generate this report with the title, with a subtotal, total. Okay, so this is what is expected to be done. So you can start working on this. Level 1, exercise number 1 on page 4-25. At least do level 1. Go ahead. So they are telling retrieve your starter program, which you already have a pre-existing code. Run the program and view the output. The observe that there are 617 rows. Observations might be displayed over 2 lines. Now this is not at all windowing environment, but you will get a proper output. Okay. You have to add a sum statement to get a total of total retail price. You have to add a where statement to select total retail price greater than 500. Verify that you should have only 35 observations. What do you notice in the obvious column? Yes, so let's do with this. It's E01 exercise.
I have
E01
one
the
doubt
chapter.
in this code we did now.
Which code?
071. Here we are mentioning specific age as 21. The table of content we check, there were group, age group, and age column was also there now.
Customer age.
Customer age. But in the result, I guess, is it showing the age group is there? Age is
Because
not.
you have not selected this age column in your var statement.
Okay.
So that even if you don't select in var, but you subset your data with where, it will still work because that customer age column is there in your data.
Var. Okay. Got it.
Understood? Okay. So in this exercise, sum and subset on total retail price. Which is more than 500. So do we get observations 35? Yes. Okay. So what is the notice you see in obvious column? So the result says this is the original observations in obvious column where the criteria for your total retail price is telling greater than 500 is true. Okay. So that answers this question. Did the sum of total retail change the reflect only the subset? So yes, it reflects output because it gives you the total only on those observations which we have selected. Okay. Then what it is, add an option suppressing this obvious column. All right. No obvious. Then how can you verify the number of observations in the result? You go and check into log. Fine. Then add ID statement to use customer ID. That's what it is. That is what this result when I execute. I find there is no observation, but I am not identifying the column. But because I've used in my where statement, the customer ID should be there to identify. So ID statement is telling to locate your appropriate customer. Okay, then 4-25. How did the output change? Then add this var statement for all these columns. Customer ID, order type. Suppose I will not use customer ID here, but I will use order ID, order underscore type, quantity, total, retail. I get it. Number of rows 35. Done. So this should be your output for your exercise.
Done.
How about others? Nagendra and Sharda.
I was understanding.
Okay, no problem, no problem. You can try later. Sharda, any doubts? I hope you followed it. Okay. So let's stop our day today, but I would expect you people to revise this topic for tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow we'll be starting a new topic, which is all about how to sort your data and generate a report in groups. Okay, so this will continue by tomorrow. For today, we'll stop our day. Thank you for attending. Enjoy your Saturday. Bye and take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.